Landing 110, Thailand 910. Request for climb 3000, Thailand 10.
Thailand 10, climb to altitude 3000.
Climb 3000, Thailand 10.
Air Canada 856 is clear to land 27 left, surface is 240 degrees at 34 gusting.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the VAC Virtual Aviation Community channel. Today I'm going to be going over how to fly a traffic pattern with ATC. We are in the Cessna 172 Slant Golf, and today we're going to be flying out of San Luis Obispo Airport, Kilo Sierra Bravo Papa in California. So let's go ahead and get this airplane started up. Today I'm going to teach you guys, first of all, how to start up the Cessna 172. Second of all, how to call into air traffic control, and third, how to fly a traffic pattern with ATC. So it's going to be a pretty simple tutorial today, not too much, but it's going to be the basic flight dynamics of the 172, along with some other stuff. So let's go ahead and get this airplane started. First of all, we want to have the master on. I already have that on. And then the second thing you're going to do is turn your beacon light on and your fuel pump on. And then you're going to be watching your fuel flow gauge while you add in some mixture, which is this red nozzle, red push thingy here. So you go ahead and you put that to full, and you watch that rise in the fuel flow gauge. Now you have fuel in your engine. So then you turn this starter gauge, and you put it to start. And then it roars to life, and then you put in the mixture and you start your engine. Okay, so now our engine is started up. Go ahead and turn the nav on, pitot heat on. In real life, you would call out clear prop when you do this. So you'd have your door open or your window open, and you'd yell out clear prop, but we're not going to do that here. So we have that all set up and good. We have the mixture. We're going to lean that a little bit to avoid the spark plugs fouling or any of that. Now let's go ahead and turn the avionics on. So today we're going to be doing a flight on the Pilot Edge ATC service. They open at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. And they give AT service all throughout the day, 7 days a week. So really great service. I totally recommend you check them out. I'm not sponsored or anything, but that's just my opinion. I think they're really great. So this is what you call your transponder right here. And you want to set it to 1200, which is the VFR code for your transponder, and you want to have it on altitude mode, which is mode Charlie, and it activates more when you go into the sky. So we're sitting here at KSPB, and we are going to be flying a standard traffic pattern here. So what is a standard traffic pattern? I'll get into that in just a second.
Okay, so what we have here is a standard traffic pattern. You have your upwind leg, your crosswind leg, your downwind leg, your base, and your final. So once you take off, you're entering your upwind leg. Then you'll turn left on your crosswind leg, left again to the downwind leg, and left again to base, and then final. This is an example of a left traffic pattern. If you were flying a right traffic pattern, it'd be the other way around. You'd go upwind, and then you turn right on your crosswind, then turn right on your downwind, right on your base, and right on your final. The altitude for this is 1,000 feet above the airport elevation. Given that San Luis airport elevation is the elevation of San Luis is 212 feet. So 1,000 feet above 212 feet is around 1,200 feet. So that's altitude that we'll be flying this traffic pattern.
So now that we know what a standard traffic pattern is, now I'm going to show you how to call into ATC and do that entire thing using the ATC services. So the fundamental thing about ATC is that you call them using what's called a VHF radio, very high frequency, which is this right here, your COM 1 and your COM 2, which is down here. So currently we have neither COM selected, so we're going to go ahead and select COM 1. That means that we're going to transmit on COM 1. We're going to be able to listen to COM 1. If you don't want to hear the ATC, you turn that off, and now you don't have to hear them. But of course we want to hear ATC because we have to be in contact with ATC. So turn on COM 1, and right here is where you have your frequencies. So the first frequency that you always want to call into is your ATIS frequency. The good thing about X-Plane is it has all the frequencies listed on the map, which makes it very easy. You don't have to go online. But if you have to go online, I always recommend SkyVector. It's a great website. Recommend you check it out. So you have your frequencies right here, and you have your ATIS frequency. 120.6, and I always recommend just write this down nice and easy. And then you have your ground frequency 121.6, and you have your tower frequency 124.0. So we're going to go ahead and tune to the ATC frequency. That's going to give us our weather, automated terminal information system. So we're going to go ahead and grab the weather now. 120.6, as I said before. So we're going to just turn that knob. Oh, wrong knob. There we go. 120.6.
San Luis.
So that is what the ATC service sounds like. We're going to wait till Pilot Edge comes online here in 3 minutes before we actually get into that. And then we'll be able to hear it better, and we'll be able to have the actual Pilot Edge service that they provide us. So we just got to wait about 2 more minutes here. But once we're there, we're going to grab the ATC. So we have our ATC frequency, our ground frequency, and our tower frequency. We're going to be calling San Luis ground first after we get the ATC. And our call sign for today is November 75 Quebec Alpha. Okay, so the Pilot Edge now has the ATC service running and their ATC service running. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to write down some of the stuff on the ATC.
Read backhaul runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information Juliet.
So we have information Juliet, and we're going to listen to the entire thing.
Regional Airport, ATC information Juliet. 1456 Zulu. Wind 080 at 6. Visibility 6. Rain, mist. Few clouds at 1,600, 2,100 scattered. Ceiling 4,000 overcast. Temperature 9er, dew point 8. Altimeter 29er 903. Arriving and departing runway 11. ILS run to 11 approach in use.
Okay, so we got the altimeter. That's the most important part that you get from that. And we have clouds are 4,000 overcast, so we are good for VFR flight today. But we'll have to be very careful. Of course, it is stormy today. Now we're going to go to 121.6 and get ready to call up ground. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is a little radio check just to make sure that the ATC is not too loud. So we're going to go ahead and call in and just say San Luis ground November 75 Quebec Alpha radio check. San Luis ground November 75 Quebec Alpha radio check.
November 75 Quebec Alpha San Luis ground loud and clear.
Alright, cool, we're loud and clear. And looks like we're ready to go ahead and get started here. San Luis ground November 75 Quebec Alpha at the West GA ramp request taxi close traffic with Juliet.
5 Quebec Alpha, what's your aircraft type?
Cessna 172 slant golf. Okay, so we're back. We're going to go ahead and call up ground here for our taxi. We had a little problem with our storage on the computer, but now it's all ready to go. So we're going to call ground. When you call ground, or when you call any station, you say the station that you're calling, which in this case is San Luis ground. So we're calling San Luis ground, and then you say your call sign. So San Luis ground, November 75 Quebec Alpha. And then you say your requests and any applicable information. So in this case, it's San Luis ground, November 75 Quebec Alpha, at the West GA ramp, request taxi close traffic with Juliet. So our request is taxi for close traffic, and we give them the extra information that we're at the West GA ramp and that we have the Juliet weather. So now that they know this, we make their job a lot easier, and it makes our lives easier as well, because now they know exactly what we're doing. And also you usually include your aircraft type. So Cessna 172 slant golf is what we're flying today. So now we're going to call them up again and ask for our taxi. San Luis ground, November 75 Quebec Alpha. We're ready for taxi.
Number 75 Quebec Alpha, runway 11, taxi via Mike, Bravo, and Alpha.
Mike Bravo and Alpha, 75 Quebec Alpha.
Number 5 Quebec Alpha, hold short runway 11 on Mike.
Hold short runway 11 on Mike, 75 Quebec Alpha. And you notice I abbreviated my call sign there. You can do this once you call in the first time. The first time that you call in, you always want to have the full call sign. You also notice I didn't put the West GA ramp. That's because I called them again earlier, and I already talked about that with them. So now we are getting ready to go and do our close traffic pattern. So we're gonna enter this taxiway probably. Yeah. So in this case, we're not familiar with the airport, so we're gonna hold on and wait here for a second, and then go to Sky Vector. This is where Sky Vector comes in handy. So we're gonna type KSBB. Grab San Luis County Regional Airport, and then we're going to go grab their airport diagram. So we have the airport diagram, and I'll pull up a picture of it on here for you guys. So Mike, okay, so we're going to taxi up Mike. So we're going to taxi along this taxiway right here, and then we're going to cross over there, and then taxi to Bravo and Alpha, which is over there as well. So once we enter this taxiway, we want to make sure that our taxi light is on, and we are ready to go. And now we are at the hold short line. San Luis ground, November 75 Quebec Alpha, holding short runway 11 at Mike.
We're back to Quebec Alpha, roger. San Luis ground taxi, cross runway 11, contact tower full length, ready to go.
Cross runway 11, contact tower full length, 75 Quebec Alpha. So we told us to cross this runway, so we're going to cross it. And then we're going to follow the taxi instruction they gave us earlier, which is Mike, Bravo, Alpha. So over here is going to be Bravo. We're going to enter off of Bravo. And then to the left of us is Alpha. And then he said we're going to contact tower full length. The tower is 124.000, which we have set in here already. We're going to switch over to them already, because there's no other traffic ahead of us on the ground that could cause like an obstacle or a problem for us. So we're good. We're just going to go ahead and go straight through here. And we are now almost full length for the runway. So he told us to go all the way down. So full length means we don't go off here, we go all the way over here. You always have to make sure that you're listening to exactly what ATC is telling you to do. We'll put in 1 notch of flaps, get ready for our takeoff. San Luis ground, November 75 Quebec Alpha, runway 11, close traffic.
75 Quebec Alpha, San Luis Tower, wind is 080 at 6, make left close traffic, runway 11, cleared for takeoff.
Clear takeoff runway 11, left close traffic, 75 Quebec Alpha. So we told us to make left close traffic, meaning we're going to make a left turn after a departure, and it's going to be a left traffic pattern. Like I already showed you the traffic pattern, so you'll remember that from earlier. So we're lining up on the runway now, and we are ready to go. So I'm gonna give it just slowly and gently give it full power. And now that power is set. So you keep your hand on that throttle. Use a little bit of right rudder to stay on that center line. But nice and easy, and the airplane just gently lifts off without you having to do anything. And now we are in the air. So remember, it's a bit of a misty day, so we're going to be very careful. And the pattern altitude for San Luis is 1,200 feet. So we're going to aim to have our traffic pattern be somewhere between that mountain, that little hill right there, and the airport. So now we're going to make our left crosswind turn. So we're turning 90 degrees off the runway heading. You can see the runway there. And you want to put that on your wing. Like so. nice and good. And then we want to turn again now and just try to follow that road. So we're flying VFR, meaning we're using visual reference points. So we're going to use visual points to know where we're going. And one thing that you can't see that I'm doing, but I am doing, is I'm using rudder in addition to my my yoke turning in order to help assist us in that turn. So you can see we're at 1,200 feet and we're crossing our midfield. We're going to take out those flaps for this. San Luis Tower, November 7-5, Quebec Alpha, midfield, runway 11.
This would be John Wayne Airport, runway 27 departure procedure, Robin, and then the San Diego Papa 3 tech route. Correction, stand by 11. November 5, Quebec Alpha, runway 11, cleared for the option.
Clear for the option, runway 1175, Quebec Alpha.
Gotta make sure I get the tech route right. November 9er 3, 9er 7 with.
Okay, so now we are able to turn to the airport and descend. So, no matter what the ATC does, you always have to fly the standard traffic pattern. But if they do not clear you for the option, or they do not clear you for landing, you are not allowed to descend below the traffic pattern altitude. So we have overshot the traffic pattern this time. But we're just going to get back on that traffic pattern and it'll be okay.
And I'm unfamiliar with this San Diego tech route.
So now we are lined up with the runway. We'll put one notch of flaps in.
With the rest of your evac, so we don't have to give the entire clearance again. I'll give you full route. Number 903, 907 Whiskey is clear to John Wayne Airport. Fly runway 27 departure procedure. Robin. Victor 208. Oceanside. Victor 23. Seal Beach VR. Then direct. Climb and maintain 5,000. Expect 6,000.
Okay, so we're just going to descend nicely towards the runway, making small, gentle movements. And then once we get down to that touchdown area, which is right now, we're going to slowly just let that throttle out and pull the nose up to lower our, and nicely touch the ground right there. And then put in rudder as needed in order to stay. And then we're going to do what's called a touch and go. So we touch the runway, we're on the ground. Now we're going to put that throttle back in, pull gently back on that yoke, and get into the sky. So we're going to go a little bit wider on this traffic pattern now, just to make sure that we're good. We're going to turn now.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I thought that was mostly for airlines. Great, I understand what that is now. Oh, hey, thank you very much for your help.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than preferred routing. The preferred routing isn't necessarily... Preferred routing is what you're going to see with airlines. Tech route's actually more designed for general aviation.
Okay, great. Well, thank you.
Okay, so we're at 1,200 now, so we're going to go ahead and level off.
Number 5 Quebec Alpha, runway 11, cleared for the option.
Clear for the option, runway 1175 Quebec Alpha. So we didn't even need to call ATC that time. They already knew where we were because they're not too busy. So they know where we are, they see where we are in the traffic pattern, and they see there's nobody else here, so they can clear us for landing earlier than they usually would. That being given to us, we know that we can also descend now and set us up with a much less steep approach into the runway. So right around these power lines right over here, that's when I'm going to decide to make that turn back towards the runway and make our base turn and then make our final turn. So right now we are on our downwind. If the tower were to say to us, extend our downwind, we continue flying this leg longer than the standard traffic pattern.
Oakland, amended cruising altitude, flight level 320.
So I'm using a lot of left rudder here to help turn us a little bit faster while having to use less angle with my wings. And I'm still turning us, and we're going to line up just perfectly with the runway right now. If not a little bit to the right of it. Yeah, just a little bit of an overshoot, but that's fine. Need to work on that myself. You always want to have the goal in mind is to be set up perfectly. Once again, it's an easy correction to make, and now we're lined up at the center line for the runway. So we're on the way down now. We got 2 white and 2 red. And just nice and easy, we're going to slowly lift that nose up, which is called the flare, and just set the aircraft down on the runway nicely. And just stay on that center line. We're going to do one more touch and go, and then this time around we're going to land and taxi to parking and be done. Just gently lifting off the runway here. Now we're going to make that turn, our crosswind turn. So you can see that our turn coordinator does not actually match our artificial horizon. And this is due to the fact that we are using our rudder. So it's showing that we're going to make that turn a lot faster, even though we're not actually using that much bank.
Number 5, Quebec Alpha, runway 11, cleared for the option.
Clear for the option, 1175 Quebec Alpha.
Tower, stationary 9397 Whiskey is holding short to runway 27, ready for departure.
So we're a little bit too close to the runway here, so we're going to go ahead and just aim a little bit further out.
For takeoff on runway 27, 497 Whiskey.
And we're going to let some of that throttle out now and begin our descent to our final. So we're getting ready to turn here. We're going to use a little bit less speed going into this turn, which will give us more time. Alright, just bank it over nicely and begin that base to final turn. So we're looking, we have the runway. We're set up on our final approach speed. We're on our base leg. Feels to me like we're a bit low, and we're just gonna nicely make that turn to our final now. Right on target. And we're lined up just perfectly on the center line this time. A little bit to the right. And we're good. So we're set up, ready for our approach. We're descending down to the runway. Flaps are set and checked. We're going to try to make it off by this point right here in order to have a successful vacation. So we're going to vacate the runway by there, hopefully. So we're going to try to put it down early, right on the numbers. So I'm going to cut the throttle out a little bit earlier and flare just a little bit harder. and then use a little bit of brakes.
Number 93997 Whiskey, SoCal departure radar contact. I'm sorry, say again, altitude, you said you're on assigned heading?
Now we're just going to go ahead and vacate the runway right here. Take the flaps out.
Okay, so just a heads up, if you give me a heading, that tells me that you've been assigned that heading and you're only flying that heading. If you're flying the departure procedure as assigned, no need to report anything other than your altitude when you check on with departure.
So now we're clear and vacated. We're vacated on an Echo, so we're going to call the tower now. San Luis Tower, November 75, Quebec Alpha. Clear the runway on Echo.
Number 5, Quebec Alpha, roger, into the ramp, echo this frequency, have a good day.
To the ramp, Echo this frequency. See you.
Number 907 Whiskey, maintain 6 hours.
And just avoid this truck right here, who doesn't know how to drive. It's like he's following us. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and park it here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. It's a pleasure having you here at the VAC channel. Hope you learned something, and have a great rest of your day. See you.